Good morning, one and all. And my God, what a morning it is. First of all, before we get into all the good stuff, the artwork you saw at the beginning is from Lord of Akka. That is his Twitter handle. He does some incredible AI work, all based around Tottenham Hotspur. So if you like what you saw on the beginning of the stream, please go and give this guy, top man, a follow. But here we are. Do you know what? It's the show that we've been deprived of from international break. And I have to say, at 88, 90 minutes, I was like, oh no, me and Johnny have got to do this tomorrow. This is going to be an interesting one. And then 10, 15 minutes later, I was like, yes, I cannot wait to do Ange-r Management after that. Johnny, I mean, you were there. First of all, how are you, brother?
I'm all right. Listen, I feel exhausted after yesterday. It was like an exhausting experience, right? But the most pleasurable, exhausting experience you can have. Funny enough, you remember how we were talking about the Bok, and all I kept going through my head, because I said 2-1, and I said if we win, it'll be the best since 1965. And I have you can't say that. And then all, the winning the double of the player of the month, manager of the month. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Yeah. Tomorrow and Ange-r Management, it's all going to be, why did you say it? I told you not to say it, but it wasn't to be, because we never stop, right? We never stop.
Mate, all I have to say is I put a tweet out when Postecoglou got the manager of the month, and I said it on We Are Tottenham TV at the beginning. I said, listen, like rules, curses are made to be broken. I was like, oh no, here we go. It's not going to happen, is it? But my God. Before we say hello to everyone, I'm just going to remind everyone what we do on this favourite programme of ours. We will always start with the negatives, should there be any. There will be a couple. Then we'll break down the positives, and that's on the style of play and everything else that goes along with it. Then we will do special mentions, and there is going to be a fair few. There is going to be a good fair few. And then this man that is just winning all our hearts over and is just absolutely on another level. But before we get into everything, let's say hello to people. There's 88 people already in here, so let's just say hello. Let's just say hello. So Crossbones E-Gaming, big up to yourself. Just a harmless potato, big up to yourself. Good morning. Luke Tracy, good morning. I mean, this is exactly how I felt when the final whistle went. I was just like, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We got Perky in the building. We have Tempest Fugit. We have a Finn Oz. Ren, big up Ren. I replied to her comment on We Are Tottenham TV. There were shenanigans and everything in the stadium, and we couldn't be there for that for obvious reasons. But just go watch the highlights of me and Simeon celebrating those goals. And the second goal, Simeon's trying to get naked. I don't know if I hugged him to stop or I didn't realise what he was doing, but it's definitely worth watching. David Shea, good morning to you. Lee Smithy Smith, good morning, sir. My brother from Sweden, Tony, how are you, sir? Colin Cross is in the building. Big up, Colin. Lily White Lane, I hope you're good, brother. Kookaburra is here.
Morning, everyone.
Eugene in Malaysia is here. Big up. Benjamin Foster is here. My brother, Tom81. We still need to have that phone call. Drula. I did give Ren a kiss. Good morning, Ren. Adrian Stone is in the building. Rich San is in the building. Gabriel is in the building. Adrian Tylo is in the building. AJ, big up, brother. C-Cube, big up. Who else have we got in here that we haven't said hello to? Stixie. Sam Clayton. I'm not going to try and say that name. Fayishola. I said I'm not going to try and say the name. I proceed to say the name. That's how we roll. Moondog, big up, brother. Kudos and Ant. What I will say, there's 103 people in here. We are on a mission today. We are 26 subscribers away from hitting a huge landmark of 7,000, which is huge for us. So let's see if we can do it during this show. Right, let's get into it, Johnny. You always go first. Here we go. Negatives.
One of the worst referees I've seen in a long time, and it wasn't just for us. I think for Sheffield United, for us, I think he just completely and utterly lost the plot. I think the keeper should have had a yellow card early doors, because as you've seen in a lot of games now, referees are giving yellow cards for time wasting early doors. With taking their time, taking a goal kick, and he didn't. And I think that came to rue when the keeper handled outside of his box in the second half, because I actually think that had he had that yellow card, he would have been off. 100% he would have been off. That was a stonewall penalty. I mean, I thought it was a penalty from where I was.
Don't say stonewall. We're getting to that. Go on. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I thought it was a penalty, right? I thought it was. I just thought the whole refereeing was just abysmal. And in the first half, we were all taking bets where we sit. How long do you think they'll be added on for the first half? And it varied between 7 and 10 minutes. And he came back with 3 minutes. One guy spent 3 minutes just sat on the floor. And the whole thing was a farce, an absolute farce. I'm hopefully that he will be struck off or suspended for a while. It was awful.
Just like Asia, I've got to say, excuse me, whilst we're going through it. Oh, wait a minute, we just got a super chat in from Moondog. Good morning. Thank you, Moondog, for the super chat. Credit to Richie after I've been bashing him. That's what it takes. I mean, we will be talking about him a lot when we get to the positives. Yeah, credit to him. But do you know what? I'm going to go back to you with the penalty. And when it happened, I said to Simeon, I think that's a bit soft. I thought that was a bit soft. But then Simeon said exactly what made me think it's a stonewall penalty. That's exactly what happened with Son against Brentford. Exactly the same thing. And I was like,
exactly the same.
You know what? Whether you think it's soft or a stonewall, that was the same decision, or not exactly carbon copy, but the same kind of tackle. And that was awarded a penalty against Brentford, against us. The consistency, I mean, the refereeing was almost as bad as his hairline. I mean, if I had that kind of hairline, I'm having this. Well, look what I do with my hair. It was shocking.
The thing was, Brian, he was stationary. He was shielding the ball, and the guys come through him. It's a penalty. Whether you think it's soft or not, right? He's shielding the ball. The guys come right through. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that was right there. What was just said there. I think the occasion got to him. He just looked completely lost.
You know what it is as well? I mean, we were talking about it. I actually don't think it wasn't that much of a dirty game. It wasn't one of those like the Battle of the Bridge or Argentina versus Holland in the World Cup, where it was just nail on bad tackles. This guy started showing yellow cards, and then he had to kind of follow suit because he dug a hole for himself. And it just got worse and worse and worse. I mean, some of the decisions were ridiculous. And the other negative ones were, what was that about with Spurs fans throwing the ball back onto the pitch when we're in play for the corner? I mean, we're watching it. It's like the first one he gave us a drop. Yeah, but the first one he gave us a drop ball for. The second one he gave Sheffield United a drop ball for. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you actually trying to do? It got so bad. But listen, if there's only, I mean, Colin Cross said the ref end off. The only thing I'm going to say negative from us was we just need to be more clinical. When you saw before we got those 2 goals, and it was something like 28 attempts on goal, we've got to be more ruthless. But then you can counteract that with the never say die.
Do you know what? I think 10 on target, 28 shots, 10 on target. I mean, we had 6 shots on target in the first 26 minutes.
Yeah, it really was one of those games. But I mean, I think that's pretty much it done with the negatives. Should we start being positive?
Can I just say the one last thing about the referee? The one that made me laugh was when we had the ball and we were trying to cross it and the ball came in. He took the ball off of us and gave it to the Sheffield United goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean,
what was that?
I just didn't understand it. But I tell you, one thing I will say, obviously Sheffield United came and they had a game plan, and I don't kind of blame them for that was part of their game plan. When these promoted teams come and their whole thing is stay in the Premier League, they're going to do this. They came here. We knew they were going to frustrate us. We knew they were going to try stuff. They kept going down. They kept giving the goalkeeper. Isn't it ironic? His time wasting gave us the extra time. to
Yeah.
go and get those goals. So it works but you can't blame.
I did say that.
Shep-
Yeah, I was
Say
just
again?
going to say, I did say to you, I thought it'd be a tough game, and that's why I said 2-1, unless we scored very early. The thing is that they gave Man City a really hard game.
They
Man
did.
City were at home, and they only beat them 2-1. So, yeah,
Do you,
VAR, don't know what it's all about or
do
what
you
it's
know what?
for.
The one after it is this is a great question from Audio. This is a great. I mean, first of all, do you realise we broke our own record
Yeah,
with that game because Leicester was the latest comeback to come back from losing to winning, and we scored our first goal. Or Bergwijn got his goal in the 95th minute. Well, Richie got his in the 98th minute, and then we got it in the 100 or 100. So it's the latest ever comeback from a losing position to a winning position. I am going to say Leicester, but the only reason I'm going to say Leicester is I was there. And the scenes, I mean, I've seen the scenes at White Hart Lane yesterday after it. I've had many videos sent to me and I've seen all of them. But for me, I'm going to say Leicester. What would you say out of the two?
no,
Johnny,
no,
were
no.
you at Leicester?
I listen. I wasn't at Leicester, but for what it meant and our journey that we're on now, I think I just think the atmosphere in that stadium has gone from just pure toxic to just. I mean, I've never seen people so happy in two games. You know, Man United and Sheffield United. The place is absolutely rocking.
Oh,
If you'd have been transported back, if you'd been going to Spurs all this time in the new stadium, and suddenly you turned up there today, you'd wonder what the hell. You'd wonder what had happened. Funny enough, I was going to post today, Brian, that very last-minute goal. I was going to post that
yeah.
on Twitter and ask that actual question: which was better, this or
It,
this?
let's say, I mean, has anyone else? People in the there's over 200 of you in here already. Put in
Morning
the
all.
comments just either put in either Leicester or Sheffield United. But yeah, they as Lord of Accident, wonderful memories that was set yesterday. Here we go, Johnny. Before we go into special mentions, let's let what positives without obviously bringing players into this. Did you find yesterday?
I, well, there's so many. I would say the fans really. I think the players really sucked the energy, just like under Conte, they sucked the negativity out of the fans that spilled onto the pitch. I think that there was so much. There was belief. There was actually belief when we were 1-0 down, that we could do it. I had people around me, the negative so-and-sos around me who were saying, yeah, we can still do it. We can still do it. I don't think that would have, I don't think that would have been possible before. And I think that really transported itself onto the pitch. I think it really gave the players that extra drive, especially in that last, I think the 12 minutes, when the fans saw that 12 minutes come up,
Yeah.
the adrenaline just went up a notch. It really did. It really did. We were driving them every tackle, everything. The players just seemed to get a huge lift from it. So that, for me, was a huge positive, especially afterwards. Wow.
Oh, mate. All I will say, Ben came on he turned up on his own fan show, obviously because he was at the game and it was me and Simeon at the studio, and we got talking a lot about it, and he was like, literally, when we went 1-0 down, the fans, rather than going, oh, here we go and blah, they rallied around this
Correct.
team, and you know what? It's because this team are putting the effort in. Do you remember? I'll go back, and I don't like going back to reminiscing about Conte.
Don't go
But
to the 60s.
but when we no. What I was about to say, when he asked for the 12th man against AC Milan, and a lot last season, the Spurs fans gave it everything for like 25 minutes straight, and the team gave nothing. So what happened? It plateaued, and it was like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, and it
And
lost.
then his
But
team selection.
yeah, but
Sanchez.
just because the fans were giving everything, and this team last year were not doing it, but when you can see the team giving it and doing all they can, and you were saying the raw when we went 1-0 down as opposed to, oh God. And then you look at it, if it had been 12 minutes injury time with Conte, would people have stayed?
No.
And literally, it'd
No
be like,
one left, Brian. In fact,
exactly.
I
That's what
got
I'm saying. That's just what I'm saying, Johnny. What's happening right now? And you can see when that first, what one thing I did love, and another positive, one huge positive for me was when Richarlison scored that goal. The whole team, rather than celebrating, Richie had his bit of emotion. But if you watch the videos back, the first thing they do is start
yeah,
running back to
pushing
the
forward.
halfway
Yeah,
line
yeah.
because they wanted to get the win. It weren't okay. Let's celebrate this and enjoy the jubilation of getting a point. They're like, no, 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 no. Let's get this ball back here. And the fans. I mean, I have seen so many videos from the goals from at the end, and I'm so happy they've started playing free from desire
Well, you're
at
lucky
the
I
end.
didn't play you, mate. I didn't tag you. You asked me not to tag you
Yeah,
because the ones I don't know if you saw my ones, but
I haven't.
the few people in here have seen mine. They mentioned it earlier. Decky's goal, Richie's
Yeah,
goal. I've got them all in the celebrations. They were good. I've got to say one positive thing. There's a guy who sat next to me who last game against Man United, he just kept going on. Richie is so crap. Richie is shit. And I said, look, you might think Richie is crap, but he's not touching the ball. Can you stop going on? And my friend said, just leave him, ignore him, ignore him. Anyway, so he spent 90 minutes doing that. So yesterday he sat there and he goes, I told you they were crap. I told you they were crap. Blah, 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 blah. He goes, I'm going. He left on 88 minutes. He left on 88 minutes. Mate, if you're watching now, right? If you're watching now, I was wetting myself and so was everyone else around him because you looked a complete mug, right? I mean, listen, you come to support the team, you leave after 88 minutes. You spend the whole game running us down and like that comeback was great. He's probably sat at home now choking on his cornflakes, telling his friend, oh yeah, I was there, but you weren't, were you? You weren't because you're negative. Negative. You're not a believer. So next time I see you, right, I want to see you smiling. I want to see you positive
yeah.
because that's what 95% of the fans were positive.
It, it,
Positive.
it's incredible. And I'll very quickly say, Robbie, listen, I saw your message yesterday. Look, when you have to put an animal to sleep, it's one of the hardest things. We had to put my beloved Simba down whilst I've been here, and I didn't get to say goodbye to him. And he was, I think, 3 years old. So yeah, but like you said, I hope you're okay, mate. It will take time to get over it, but we're all here for you. And like you said, you're loving it. It's what you needed, and everything about this club and Ange is to be happy and fall in love with at the moment. So right, let's do it. Here we go. There's going to be a good few. There's going to be a good few, and for various reasons. And Johnny, okay, wondering where you're going, and I wonder where you're going first. Who could you possibly want to talk about? But Johnny, you do realise you need to get that changed now because he ain't got blonde hair.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's Billy. That's Billy the Id's flag
Billy Cards.
that Richarlison, which he gave to me to get Richie to sign for him.
Okay.
But with everything that's gone on, that's not been possible. But I will endeavour to get that done for him. Well, what can I say? I'm very happy for him. What was that? What was that last question? What was that last one? Right. Okay. Well, that's fine.
No, he's being sarcastic.
All right. He was correct. Maybe. Look, guys. Okay. We've all got our favourites. We've all got the people that we like and dislike. But if you're a Spurs fan, you should be wanting even the ones you don't like and the ones you don't rate to come good and score. And, when you go away on away games that I've been to, Brian's been to,
Yeah.
Richie's been getting fantastic support. It's mainly on Twitter and social media. He's been getting a lot of the abuse. But yesterday was special. The header was fantastic. It was a fantastic header because he lost his man. He had two men tight on him, pushed them away, got a fantastic header in, and basically I thought the assist was very good for Decky, right?
Yeah.
The little flick on the outside there to push Decky in. I know the finish was good, but goals change games and goals change players' mindsets. And, confidence is a huge thing in football. Once you score, once the confidence is there, he had basically, I think even when he scored the goal at the end of the game there, he had to be pushed forward by, I'm sure you saw it, by Sonny.
Yeah.
Saw that?
Yeah.
And by Basuma and all of them to take the limelight, because even then he didn't really want it. That's not Richie. Richie normally would have actually been at the forefront, giving it all, whipping his shirt off. So you can see that's a subdued person. But listen, with the goal and psychologist getting in his mind, we all want and we all need a fit and goal scoring Richie. Whether he scores goals or creates assists is part of the team. This is a team now, right? We're no longer looking for Harry Kane every single pass, every single ball. So he's going to be one cog in this wheel. And that's why we have special mentions, because there's lots of cogs in this Ange wheel, not just one. So Richie, fair play. Great goal. Without the goal and without the assist, we wouldn't be here celebrating today. So whether you hate him or not, give him props for today, and let's hope he can take that form into to the next game.
Well, yeah. I mean, Walker's. First of all, like I said, I'm not joking. I hate it when, and it's a little pet peeve of mine. It's not a major thing. I hate it when they have these silly haircuts, and the blonde was just like, oh, what? Why? It's his choice and whatever. He comes on looking like he meant business, and he was honestly. He came on how funny and how weird this world works. Where 1 minute you're getting subbed off for Brazil, and you're close to tears. Your form's not going well at your club. Images of you close to tears around the world. Then you come and speak out. Everyone shows their love for him and support him for his bravery to come out. And then all of a sudden, he comes on and does that. I mean, to tell you the truth, I think the first header that he put over the bar was easier than the.
I actually don't think it was actually, Brian.
I think because literally Perisic's cross had all the power and the pace on it. He just had to direct it. Where the way he's gone for the first one, he's leaning back. So no, you're right. You might be right. Actually, I think you might be right. Sorry, I got it the wrong way around. You're right. You're right. But then also, like you said, that assist, he may have wanted to go for glory or snap. It was the perfect layoff. And it was wonderful from him. Now there's so many people I want to mention, but I've got to go with this guy first, and I've got to speak about Yves Bissouma. This man, do you know what? I'm trying to work out. I still keep saying this. Antonio Conte had an ace up his sleeve, an absolute pair of aces. Let's go, and wouldn't fit him into his formation. Listen, when he managed Chelsea, he came and tried a new formation. It didn't work, and then he went back to his tried and tested, and obviously he won the league with them. His tried and tested here didn't work. He's shown flexibility at Chelsea to change it. So why he didn't? Because Yves Bissouma, at the beginning of the game, he was phenomenal. Then he went quiet a bit, but I am telling you now, when that 12 minutes came up, he was like, right, that's it, we're winning this game. He single-handedly dragged the team forward. When people were on the ball, he wanted the ball quick. He was everywhere. He was everywhere. Not only does he do that on the pitch, the personality is off the pitch. And in part of the celebrations, we saw it at Burnley when he comes close up and starts dancing. This man could have saved Conte. Not that I'm happy. I'm happy he didn't, because we wouldn't have had Ange. But when you have an ace like this, he is absolutely outstanding. Like Collins just said, he basically is our Jude Bellingham right now. He is everywhere. He is setting everything up. And those final 20 minutes, he was absolutely untouchable. You can see when we're all celebrating the second goal, he's down by the touchline with cramp and can hardly move. He was absolutely incredible yesterday, weren't he, Johnny?
Yeah, he was. I'll tell you why he was on the bloody floor, because if you look in my video, you'll see Big Vic jumped on him, right, and along with all the others, and suddenly his crown was lying on the ground. Listen, he's a fantastic player. Antonio Conte, hang your head in shame. I went on and on and on about this last year. Guy's 26, played for Lille as a progressive footballer, scoring goals, taking free kicks. He comes to Brighton under Potter and plays as a defensive midfielder. When we signed him, I thought we were getting this amazing hybrid player. And then what does Conte says in October? It was our first signing in July, and in October, no, he doesn't understand the game. He's got to understand our tactics. Bullshit. The guy's 26. He's played football his whole career. We saw how good he is. We saw in the game against Sierra Leone or whoever they were playing, he released his inner Messi. Yesterday was unbelievable. That pass that he did for Brennan Johnson, right?
Yeah.
From deep line, Brennan Johnson, like if he'd have been onside, it would have been a fantastic goal. It was unbelievable. He's dancing. I love the way he ran up and grabbed hold of the bar, was swinging on the bar.
I mean, you've got to see, Johnny, did you see his Instagram post where he put, "I love this club, I love my fans." Mate, he has got the Tottenham bug.
Well, he is the heart and soul in the dressing room, right? Because the rule is you can't be club DJ and club captain. So he's club DJ, right? He's dressing room DJ. He's the man that leads all the dancing. He plays all the tracks. No one's allowed to touch his music. So, but he is the music. He is the music on that pitch. Yeah, he leads the dance. And you're right. He started very strongly. He was everywhere. Went a little bit quiet, and he found inner strength in that last 12 minutes. As did all of the team, in fairness.
Yep, you're right. So, who's your next one?
Blimey. Who should I go for? I'm going to go for Big Vic. I'm going to go Big Vic. There's so many we could go for. I'm just going to go for Big Vic because I just love his energy. I love the fact, I don't know if everybody knows, but he speaks fluent English. There is no communication problem, and of course he can speak Italian, which is fine with Romero, so he's fine on that front. The save that he made at a crucial stage, it was a good save, I think, but just the way I was really happy to see him coming out of his box now. In the first few games, I was a bit worried when you're playing that high line and you're still sat on your penalty spot. If a ball comes over the top, not any of us. I've been going on about Perisic non-stop. Basically, when you play the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal, I don't want to see Big Vic on his penalty spot. I want to see him on the D outside his box, acting as a sweeper. And I've been going on about that. And I noticed at Sheffield United, he was out of that box on that D. So much so that when we scored that goal, the last goal, Kulu's goal, he ran the entire length of that pitch to join in the celebrations. He jumped on Basuma. He was in the crowd at the other end. He loves the club. You can tell he loves everything about this place. And let me tell you something. I think we've got one hell of a goalkeeper on our hands. And all those people who said, just another crap keeper, we should have got Raya. Raya's now sat on the bench down the road at the Scum. And we have a goalkeeper who is the envy, I would reckon, by the end of this season, could be the envy of the Premier League. Look how much they play for Onana. Look what's going on down there. And look what we've...
I have to say, I'll start with that because I have come out and said even since the first Premier League game, but before that, I was very, very... I went mental. I had a meltdown on We Are Tottenham TV about Raya not happening. And then, obviously, within 24 hours, what I was led to believe, the cheaper option. But I keep saying it every single time. James Flower, a very, very good friend of the channel and mine personally, said typical Spurs fans want us to do the Brighton model. Then we sign a keeper.
Correct.
And people think and he was bang on the money. And you know what? Against Man U, he was sensational, but we all know that. He didn't have a lot to do. He could do nothing with the goal. The goal was a great strike. I don't think any
Yeah.
keeper's saving that. In all honesty, in off the inside of the post, you just can't. You just can't do it. It was sloppy defending. But he made 2 or 3 outstanding saves, and he's another one that has really, really got the Tottenham bug. And he is. I mean, like you said, running that. It reminded me of when Lloris did it in Ajax. Um, but he did it. You could see him roaring to the south stand. He is, mate, gone are the days that when we pass it back and around the back. I don't know if everyone in the chat, and there's 340 of you in here, so thanks for joining us this Sunday morning. I don't get nervous anymore. It's such a relief that when we do pass the ball back, and it's very rare that we're passing the ball back, I'm not in least bit nervous. The 2 of the saves were right at him, but you know what? That first one, he had to get down low and get a leg to it, and he did.
I
I
thought they were
think
going to
we.
score. I thought that
I,
was. I thought it was. I thought it was going in for sure.
I think we have one hell of a goalkeeper, and I will say it because I would always say it when I think of. Well done to Tottenham Hotspur for doing their scouting. Well done for Tottenham Hotspur for literally doing this right, because we had big gloves to fill. Losing
Well,
Hugo, or
little
say
gloves.
losing.
Little
But
gloves.
yeah, I mean, they were, whoever comes in after a goalkeeper of that length of time with what Hugo's won internationally and been at the club for, that was a big ask to come in and set the ground running. He's done it big time. I'm going to bring Kulusevski up because I have been one that has criticised him a lot this season, and the only reason I criticise him is because I base what he did in the first half or the second half of the season. He went on loan with Bentancur, and no one could touch him. And then obviously defenders have started to work him out. He can be a little bit predictable, but yesterday, obviously, we had the stat in the week that he's ran the most in the Premier League. Now, a lot of people are getting really, really happy about that. It's a great stat to have, but I want to see more from him. That's brilliant. It's his teamwork, getting back for the team is sensational. But he's employed by this football club to create and score, and that's just been off the boil recently. But in the second half, he started to come to life. A couple of very, very good key passes, and you got to remember he came inside or he came more central when Brennan Johnson came on, and it does it to in the 90th or the 100th minute, should we say, the 100th minute. That was some hell of a finish, and you have to give credit where it's due. And I have been heavily critical of Kulusevski, and if that is the start of him coming back to what we know he can be, then so be it, and long may it continue. But he looked more comfortable central, didn't he, Johnny?
Look, you know what I've been saying. I said Son can't play out wide. Kulu can't play out wide. I actually don't think that Kulu had a good game. Right? Listen. This is the conflict between stats and actual action. Right? So his stats were 62 touches, final third passes 34, touches in the opposition box 14, the most of anybody. Shots 7, the most of anybody. Chances created 5, the most of anybody. Big chances created 3, the most of anybody. Shots on target 2, goal 1. Now, in that first half and a lot in the second half, he's beaten his man. Get the ball in the box. Get the ball in the box. He is a different player when he comes inside. Most of the damage came, like you said, like we've spoken about before. I see him as an 8 or a 10. I do not see him out wide. When he came inside, most of those stats that came about when he stepped inside. The shot, the goal came, and the shots came from that. But listen, as I said, you know, you might not like him, you might not rate some of the things he does, but you want someone to turn their game around. And I really do think that Kulu, if he steps inside, he's going to be a player. I think that's where his future lies at this club for me. Fantastic finish. Absolutely fantastic
Unbelievable.
finish. But when you beat your man, Kulu, get the ball in the box. Don't try and beat him again, right? Beat your man, whip it in the box. That's it. Do the job.
On to your next one, Johnny. Like I say, I love these positive shows. I love it.
Right. Mickey van der Ven, man. I mean, wow. Right. I mean, like, he was like a one-man... He was like almost like a one-man defence mechanism, right? In the early stages of the first half, winning balls, winning tackles, winning the ball in the air, trying to bring it out of defence. And listen, I'm going to say this. He is Jan Vertonghen, but he's taller and he's quicker. I don't know where his limit is. I don't know where his ceiling is for this player. Because there was a moment where the attacker got ahead of him, and he just went into to sort of half auto mode and just went boom, and got the ball back. He has. I don't know where his ceiling is. I really don't. I think what we'll be doing is trying to tie him down to a new contract by the end of this current season, because him and Romero together have really, really got it sussed. I don't think it was either of their fault for the goal.
No.
And you know, he when we scored that third goal, there's on my Twitter feed, you see him celebrating, and he's going absolutely mental. This is what I like. These new signings are absolutely buzzing. You know, like normally they come, they need time to settle in, to understand the club, get with the program. But how can you not be buzzing when you're in that stadium? You're getting that support, you're getting the results and the feel-good factor. And I think it's going to take a lot to destroy this group of young kids, really.
Yeah, Big Mickey is just he's awesome. He is fantastic. The stature of him. He made a couple of slips yesterday, but the thing is, he like Carl Walker, his pace got him out. His pace gets him back out of it. He is, like I said, partnerships, and the most important partnership for me on that football pitch is the two in the centre back. And it's literally, he has settled into life with Romero incredibly. The way he takes the ball, the way he can get it moving, and still, do you know what? We see him go back and win it with his pace, but I don't think we've even seen him in fifth gear yet. I don't think he's got out of second gear. That the pace this man has, as everyone has seen on that video where he was at Wolfsburg and he ran the length of the pitch to make the goal line clearance
to tackle Nkunu, who's like a machine.
He is very, like I said. And like Colin said, and people will know my love for Jan Vertonghen, he is very, very, very special. And like Colin was saying, that if you look at the two careers, Vertonghen wasn't this good at 21. Was nowhere near this good at 21. He developed into it. Now, if this guy is going to, wait a minute, we just got one in from Adrian. Yeah, do you know what? With aerial threat, I don't know if that is. I can see where you're coming from with it, but the size and stature he is, Adrian. This is something. If that was is his weakness, and thankfully at 21, 22, he can develop it. He can develop it and work on it. I just think we have got one hell of a special. I mean, the left centre back area was what for me needed to be filled. For me, it was more important than the person I'm going to mention next. And we took our time to get him. Obviously, Wolfsburg wanted to get their replacement in. And my God, are we reaping the rewards? He is a very, very special defender. And I want to say thank you to Holland and Ronald Koeman for calling him up, but not giving him a single minute of football. So he came back fit, fresh, sharp, and ready to go. People, I will let you know, we're down to minus 20 away from hitting 7,000. And Johnny's just decided to leave for some reason, but he'll be back shortly. There's over 400 people in here now. So if 20 of you that haven't subscribed could subscribe, we will hit our target.
Don't know what happened there, Brian.
I've got no idea what happened to you there. I was talking about getting to 7,000. But next special mention, and
Can I just say? Can I just say,
go on.
because everyone's going on about this is our fan base, right? Mickey was crap in the air, missed every ball. You see the comments in there. Look, the guy is 22 years of age. Okay, you don't start to mature till you're, they say 26. Okay, he's just come into the team. He's learning on the job. Had we had another world-class left centre-back, they may be swapping, but he's thrown into the lion's den, straight in there. There is no, it's learning on the job. So yes, he's going to make mistakes. Yes, things are going to go wrong, but he's learning in the best way he can, playing. And while he's learning and we're still winning, let's just get behind it. It's not always going to be pretty. And yes, he lost balls in the air. Yes, he did, but he will get better. Simple.
I've just realised I was going to mention someone. I'm going to leave Player of the Month to you because there is someone I want to talk about. And for me, he was the best player on the pitch in the first half, and that was Manor Solomon. His pace, his non-stop running. I mean, I think it also looks like him and Son have got a relationship building there. There seems to be on the same wavelength. He was second half, he got a little bit tired in a couple of attempts, obviously high and wide. But after the performance against Burnley with 2 assists, down that left-hand side in the first half, I think he was electric. Could have scored a goal, but it was a good save from the Sheffield United goalkeeper. But Sheffield United in that first half didn't know what to do with him. They just couldn't keep hold of him. I think we are really that position now. I think is firmly with Manor Solomon, don't you, Johnny?
Listen, I think Manor had a really good first half. He sometimes needs to release the ball a little bit quicker, but what a terrible signing, eh? For nothing, Another Levy signing? No, a Fabio Smart signing, 0. Okay, free signing, guys. Right? How much is he worth now? Right? Not that that's important. All the value we want is the value on the pitch, but just putting it out there. I think.
We can't remember as well. Sorry, Johnny. I just want to bring you what Absolute Board said. Manor Solomon played up, I think, a majority of the 180 minutes for Israel in the European qualifiers and came back, obviously having travelled and everything. So that's another thing to heap praising him from. But he's had a very, very busy international break as well.
What about Romero? He's come all the way from Bolivia, La Paz, right? So he's flown. With respect. I mean, I know Israel's not as far, but same with Richie. Okay, Richie, although he got taken off in the second game. Listen, Manor again. He's a young player, right? He's only going to get better. Okay, he's going to work, and this is the story. This is the start of the story, guys. Okay.
Love that comment from Terry. So yeah, after Solomon, who are you going for?
You are my destiny.
Yeah, mate. You got there before me. I've said about him every single one, but you take him. Go on.
I mean, listen, he's 20 years of age. There I am going on about, maturing. He's way beyond his league. I would say, he was rated in the top 5 left wing backs in Europe for his age. I would say he's probably in the top 3 in the Premier League already. He's just unbelievable. And let me tell you, he was the one that made that final goal happen.
Correct.
He came and won that ball back out of nowhere. The guy thought, I've got this, no problem. Destiny comes in, bang. And I mean, what a player. And we haven't seen the best of him yet. As I've said on previous streams, one of his favourite things is to pick up the ball and drive in from that left-hand side and release an unstoppable shot. We'll see that. We haven't seen it yet. When we get to a more expansive game, maybe against the Arsenals and Liverpools, where there's more space to run into, they're not employing that tactics. We'll see it. But he's got pace. He's got power. He's got a good football brain. and he's only going to get better. It's frightening.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've mentioned Destiny every single time we've done this on special mentions, so my 100% record's gone. But you know what? I think in the North London derby, if Zinchenko is playing at right back or right wing back, whatever the hell they play, he's going to be having nightmares the night before about Destiny Udogie because he is absolutely incredible. And like Colin said, like you said, like many have said, he's the one that started that move. He did basically exactly what he did against Burnley for Maddison's goal.
Correct, 100%.
Just instead of giving it to Maddison, it was higher up the
Well, it was a bit of a
back.
deflection. It was lucky the Burnley one, but he was there. Yeah.
Yeah, but the pressure he puts on high up that pitch at that time just shows that never say die attitude. The move going forward for it he is just such a special player. He is such a special player that is going to wreak havoc in this Premier League. And one game a week is going to be brilliant because he puts so much. I mean, the whole team do when it comes to putting energy into the game. But this guy is very, very, very special. Big up Adrian for another super chat. Ryan Sess was also younger when we bought him. The Ryan. I mean, that guy. Forget Ryan Sessegnon.
Cheese streams, mate. Cheesy streams.
No, Weetabix. You just add milk, and then his hamstring goes. That's all you need to do with Mr. Weetabix. And you know what? I'm going to stay on this left hand side. And Richarlison rightly has taken a lot of plaudits, but you know what? Ivan Perisic deserves a very, very special mention. And the thing is, you look at it. The way during the game before Richie and Perisic came on, as well as Johnson, who we speak about, we kept putting the ball in the box. And we needed someone like a Richarlison up there. Son needs balls to run onto or pull back from him. He's not one of those whip it in and he's there. Perisic comes on and immediately the crosses get delivered and they're going into the right places. The corner was incredible. His set pieces, he is so good that everyone knows what Perisic is going to do. He's been doing it all his career. You know it's coming. You know what he's going to do, but they just cannot stop it. And I tell you what deserves more credit than that corner was the flick to Richarlison to set up Kulusevski. That touch that set that move off was such a hard thing to do, and he did it. It only could go in one place before it would be cut out, and he did it. And Ivan Perisic coming off the bench to deliver that against a tiring team, I think he was outstanding yesterday when he came on. And Richie rightly and everything that's happened is getting a lot of plaudits, but there's no way that Perisic doesn't deserve a lot of credit today, Johnny. What do you reckon?
Listen, I was calling for it. I'm a huge Perisic fan. All the people saying get rid of him this season, I just do not get it. I really don't. The guy had 11 assists last season, playing in a pragmatic team. Not playing his position. He's not a defender in this league. In Serie A, he can get away with it. He only started playing that position at 31 under under Conte. But I was calling the winning double, right, is Perisic and Richie. He needs balls into the box. He came on and put 3 balls into the box in about the first 3 or 4 minutes. More balls that have gone into the box than have gone in the whole game. Kulu on that right hand side, he's beat his man. Whip the ball in. No. Perisic, come on, bang. He causes havoc. When you're a defender and you're the other team's attacking and you're running backwards towards your goal, and someone is whipping those balls in, you're trying to defend whilst running backwards, right? But when what Kulu does, he gives them time, he beats his man, and then they're facing the ball when he's coming in. Perisic's ball's in. I think during the international break, I can't remember. Someone told me how many goals he set up for Croatia. So Personally, I would do it the other way around. If we're going to start Richie, I would be starting Perisic. Personally, I would be having Perisic, I would be having Richie and whoever on that right-hand side. And then I would be bringing on Solomon with his pace to make use of the, a tiring team. More balls in the box than Madonna. Very good. I don't think you can count the ones that Madonna's had.
So, just quickly, a couple of super chats to get through. Super sticker from my son with just the a man with the heart, or is it a man? A baby blowing a kiss. And from the wonderful Ellie, good morning, Ellie. For all your hard work, just like Manor, who I agree with for his tireless running after our team was so commendable.
Yeah.
Correct. So, yeah.
Let's have the scores on the doors, Brian. I need the scores on the doors.
You need the score on the doors? Let me just quickly do this. Okay, before we carry on with special mentions. We have 413 people currently watching us. We have 173 likes.
Come on, guys, you can do better, guys. And we're trying to get to the magic 7,000. So if you're visiting for the first time, if you hit the subscribe button, believe me,
need 20.
It does not hurt, right? It's not subscribe and pay. It's just subscribe to know that the channel, when we go live, and you'll just get a notification. That's all it is. But it helps our channel grow. And if you're in there and you're liking what Brian and I've got to say, then give us a like. If not, no worries. No worries.
Johnny, you do that so well. But I can't.
Is it my go or is it your go?
It's my go. No, I did Perisic. It's your go. It's your go, sir.
Who can I go for? Oh dear. Okay. I've got to mention. Listen. I didn't think I'm going to mention two that I didn't think had a good game. All right.
We're carrying on with the good games. The good games. There's still more.
Okay.
There's still more.
We're going with the good. Okay, we're going with the good. I thought that Romero again had a really good game. He definitely leads. He definitely leads by example. There was one challenge in the first half where he went through this challenge like his life depended on it. And like all of us ran there like winch.
Thank you, Ellie.
Was that really necessary? Was that really necessary to put so much aggression into that tackle? But I got to tell you, from that moment on, I'm trying to think who it was that he was marking. I don't know if it was Archer, actually. Cameron Archer, who had a really, really good game against Everton the other week. He didn't go near Romero after that. Romero had his back. So, but he leads. He talks to Mickey van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven, Romero and Big Vic, they really have a thing going on, right? The communication is superb, which is really, really important. And I just think he has taken this vice captaincy and he's really running with it. It's added to his game, the responsibility. And you can see, I mean, as if he wasn't passionate enough, probably over passionate at times. But apart from that one challenge, that one mad challenge, I thought he was really controlled.
Yep.
Controlled aggression and a very controlled performance. Long may it continue. I'm not sure if he committed a foul.
He did.
He did, didn't he?
He did. Him and Van der Ven have now committed a foul each. Van der Ven picked up a yellow card.
Definitely did. Yeah, Mickey
did. So yeah, do you know what, Romero? Do you know what I was thinking when Kulusevski scored? I don't know if he had the energy, but if I'm now a Spurs player, especially after watching the James Maddison interview, and he said, when I scored against Bournemouth, I thought I got whiplash from Romero smacking me. I'm hoping Kulusevski was pumped up with adrenaline and didn't feel what slap may have come his way. But like I said, Romero, since he's formed this partnership, we saw what he was capable of in the first season. It was here near the end. He was absolutely phenomenal. Last season, weren't his best, and it's come under that. Obviously, him and Conte didn't have the best of relationships, and it would have been a goodbye if Conte had still been here. He's back, and you know what? I think he's even better than he was in his first season, and he's doing it consistently. Great. It's amazing what you can do when you get a partnership and then a goalkeeper you can have confidence in what can come from him.
He's still young, Brian.
He is. He's only going to get better. And as we said, he turned down bids to go to Saudi Arabia because he wanted to stay and commit to Tottenham. That Romero is the Romero we all know and love. And like you said, like the others, had a lot of travelling to do. Yeah. Could have had a horrific injury. Could have. Yeah. Don't know how he got away with it. Because that did look nasty, but brilliant. And I was going to mention Brennan Johnson next, but something's just come to my mind about James Maddison. Just when you think you can't love James Maddison anymore, the shit housery that everyone has seen when we went 2-1 down up, when he went to a Sheffield United player and held his leg up to pretend he was injured and slow the game down, and he did it with such a big smile on his face. I only saw that after the game when I saw the pictures coming out.
Yeah, but you know what?
In the first half, some of his passes, like what I'm loving about him, and it's something again I didn't know he had to his game. And I say it about players before that I used to say it with Harry Kane. I said, like, in finals, when you're not getting the ball, you're the world-class player. You're the elite. The ball don't come to you. Go to the goddamn ball and make things happen and take the game. If James Maddison can't get involved up top, he'll drop deep and start dictating the game from there. I literally, some of his passes and his speed of thought and his weight of pass and there was also a couple of tracking back and sliding tackles that he made.
Well, that was for me the best thing, Brian. I think the thing that what you just said there for me was the standout. The passing for Manon was superb. Some of those slide broad passes, but for me, the thing that really set it all apart was that one challenge where he tracked back on the left-hand touchline, the near touchline to where they come out in the tunnel, and he slid in. I thought, oh my God, is that? I couldn't believe that it was that Maddison who basically slid in and got that ball. But you're right, tracking back, picking up the ball deep. He didn't score. Yep. He didn't create, but he was still a vital part of that wheel.
Yeah, Adam, I will say, I'll bring yours up in a second. Where was it? Listen, I will give credit where it's due when it's due. We tried to get him the season before, but Conte apparently vetoed it and said no.
Correct.
And then we went and got him this year. Now, it is well done for the club for making sure we went and got the job done. But the question that will always hang over it is, if it's still been in the Premier League, that value probably would have been double. Would it have happened? That's the thing. Would it have happened? Would we have paid the price? Would we have been able to do it? We will never know. But he wanted him last year, couldn't get him. Ange has obviously green-lighted it and was a very big part in Ange's style of play, and we've gone and got him. So
he wanted to come here. The thing is, above all else, he had offers from other clubs, big clubs, right? But he wanted to come here. There's something about he said it was his calling, right, to come here. Let me tell you something. How much is Bissouma worth? 25 million. Spurs could not afford Bissouma right now. If Bissouma's playing for another club, we would not be in the running because we couldn't afford him. Because right now, as the defensive six, right, Maddison for Winks. Hello, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much indeed, Paul, mate. Shana Tova to everyone that does celebrate Jewish New Year. Before we go on to the next special mention, Tigaro, thank you very much indeed. Single parent theory. Not sure if Vicario had been mentioned. He most certainly has, my man. But he is awesome. He's passing out the bat. This is what we're discussing, Tigaro. Gone are those days where we are so concerned about playing out from the back. Gone are the days where you're worried when the ball is at the feet of the goalkeeper. His passion and leadership qualities are starting to shine without a solitary doubt. They have been. I mean, we've been ultra positive here. I've still got a couple I could easily mention, Johnny. I definitely got one to mention about, but it's your turn. And then we get to the main event we get to the main event, which is I'll do my
look,
song when I bring him up.
I don't. When we signed him, I don't know whether we were getting Brenda Johnson or Brennan Johnson, but we got Brennan. I still think it's a big fee for a player. That listen, I'm not sure. Listen, I'm sure he's going to be a good player. I'm just not sure. When I say I'm not sure, that we need to spend that money on that position right now. That's all I was going to say. But his run should have. It's a shame he couldn't keep on side. But the run for Bissouma's pass and the way he put the ball away, it was a clinical finish. And I just hope that he goes on to do some big stuff at Spurs. His pace is going to be crucial, and I think especially in that second half, that's why I'm more inclined to put on Perisic and Kulu to start, and then bring on. Could you imagine Johnson on one side and Solomon on the other with 20 minutes to go, right? With potentially, whether you have Richie or you have a Son running through the middle, that's going to cause a lot of problems. But right, Bissouma's 100 million now. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Brennan Johnson, when he came on, I wanted him to come on a little bit earlier, but obviously, what do I know? This man, you can't doubt or question. But to come on, create an assist that got ruled out for a foul, and rightfully so. The way he took the pass for Bissouma, which was a great pass from Biss, but
yeah,
it was a tight angle. Had one moment, the adrenaline must have, and he finished that off. And I'll tell you what, the Sheffield United defenders, Robinson was making some incredible blocks, was incredible, easily their man of the match.
Yeah.
Brennan Johnson came on and scared the living crap out of him. And it was absolutely an incredible cameo to come on. That front three that came on, I mean, we're going to get to Ange and substitutions very, very shortly. And you know what I loved? If anyone watched his interview after and is just saying, wow, I mean, this is why I came to a club like this, because that you saw, if you'd come last season, you wouldn't have got it. That, and he said, even when I scored, he goes, I didn't know where to run, who to run to, what to do. I think he came on and he scared the death out of people. And whether he starts the NLD and scares the hell out of people all game, or if he comes off the bench, that guy is going to absolutely terrify everyone. Now, obviously, you wanted to talk a couple of negatives. Fire away so we can get onto the main course.
Yeah, just quickly, look. When I say negative, I actually thought that Sonny would struggle against Sheffield United because they're a bruising team. And like Ange said later on, that he needed someone who could hustle and bustle. And I think that Richie was perfect for Sheffield United. And that's why I was crying out. In fact, the guys, and it's like, I kept saying, come on, we've got to bring Richie on. And a couple in front said as well. We needed him on. Son looked lost in that game. Even playing through the middle. I think when you're playing the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool, he will be more suited to that game because there'll be a lot more space to run into in a high line. But for me, he looked lost, and fair dues to our man for bringing him off. It needed to happen. I would have liked to have seen it before the 80th minute, but it is what it is. So let's run with it. But, as I said last week, one swallow doesn't make a summer. He scored a hat-trick. I think they're going to be, if you listen to Ange, horses for courses.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you see Manchester City, when you see Pep and Kevin De Bruyne is not playing, you don't see headlines. Kevin De Bruyne dropped. No, this is a squad game, okay? This is a squad game. And we have to get out of our heads this thing where there's the 11 and that's it. No. When we play a certain opposition, I want to see the right players playing for who we're playing against. And, I think that will evolve. And, I'd like to see that happen on a more regular basis because I definitely think Richie was more tailor-made to Sheffield United. That was it.
You're right. No. What I will say. Do you know what I likened it yesterday to? I used to say this with Rafa van der Vaart. Rafa van der Vaart, who people remember, was an exceptional player.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Loved this club. Played for the badge completely. But what I didn't get about him or the selection is when we played him away at Stoke. And we had to play him because it was like, right, we got our 11, this is it. But Van der Vaart, when they're going like this, that you're coming at, yeah, and it's a more physical game, these little tricks and flicks and whatever don't always work. They're brilliant when teams play open and give you the freedom. But when these teams are going to try and bully you and unsettle you, I thought Rafa van der Vaart would have been better coming on from the bench and putting another stronger midfielder in there. And it's kind of the same with Son and Richie. I'm not comparing them to Rafa's level, but there's certain games where Son isn't going to bully a central defence.
Correct.
He isn't going to give them. Yeah. He isn't going to give them. And also, like we said, these kind of games where you want to get the ball in and someone to attack it, like physically, that's not Son. That's Richarlison.
Well, it could be Richie's first goal.
It could be Felice, but like you said, right now, what we've got to do, like we said with Conte just played the same players, played the same players, played the same players, played the same players. Look what he did with Star, just neglected him and not played him. Basuma, we spoke about it. We got a long season, all right. Yes, it's only one game a week and he recovers, but Ange just got to think, and like you said, he just thinks about the next game. And Son, who I did think had some good moments, he wasn't at his deadly best as he was against Burnley.
One great shot, one great effort.
He had that one great effort. There was a couple of times where he could have done. It wasn't his best game, but against Arsenal, he will. It's more exactly. It's more suited for him. That's what we got to do. We got to look at it. Listen, whatever Ange does right now, I think all of us trust him. All of us, and he will have better days. What I do love is the man himself, the man of the moment that we're about to talk about. Unless you got one more to talk about.
Just one more.
Well, let me just finish by one thing. Then I was about to say the one thing I do love about Ange is compared to others, if he thinks his captain needs to come off, he will come off. There's no, oh, you're the captain, you stay on. He'll be like, right, okay, I need to do something for the team. You are captain, but you are coming off, and you've got to applaud Mr. Postecoglou, Lord Postecoglou. I might start calling him very, very shortly. But yeah, Johnny, you wanted to talk about one more player.
Just quickly, two things, right? Pedro Porro in that first half, again, a lot of the threat was coming down his side. Okay, going forward, I love him, right? I just still am worried about him defensively. On that side, I really do believe that is a bit of a weakness of his, and we can't forget beforehand. We cannot forget the kid, right? Papa Sarr, again, he was still driving that ball forward. He was looking for the ball. This is what I say, Michael. I say he's young Patrick Vieira. I've said it since we signed him. I still say it. He was superb again. Him and Bissa together are just fantastic. They really are a joy.
It's the three of them. You've got to add Maddison to that as well, though, Johnny. You've got to have they're all complementing each other.
Yeah, no, but I think what Bissa and Sarr do, they give the legs to a now Maddison to have that free roam, because the legs on them, God knows what we're going to do when those two go to Africa for the African Nations Cup. Yeah, but they don't. Listen, I'm a huge Bentancur fan, right? But I just there's just another dimension to those guys' play. I know they're not that much age difference, maybe about 5-6 years, but he's a father figure to Sarr Bissa, right? And they're very, very close. But you can see that closeness on the pitch. Sarr was fantastic, again on that pitch, especially in the first half. He tires and he brings on some fresh legs. But I don't think you can forget when you're playing. We've had so many special mentions. It was easy to forget Sarr, and he had a really good game, I thought. He had a really good game. I'm not slagging Porro. I just thought, again, in that first half, a lot of the trouble that we were susceptible to was coming down that side. I think Arsenal and Liverpool will all target Porro in the upcoming games.
Well, with that we're going to have to see. But if they do, I'm not going to have any problem with it, because this game is going to be like what he did with Burnley. He started off shaky. Before we get onto the main event and start talking about our manager of the month, and everything, Ange, just want to say, Rich, thank you very much indeed. Just wanted to say I have been loving the content, especially Ange-r Management. Awesome work,
Thanks,
gents.
Rick.
Thank you very, very much indeed, matey. We really, really appreciate it. Okay, it's time. Let me just switch it. I might change this to Lord Postecoglou or something, because Ange Paul, I love Ange Paul. I keep singing that. I got Simeon singing it all day yesterday. Right, before we even talk about the match, manager of the month in your first month, we thought there was a curse,
Can I have a
but
think about it?
also when you look at it, the press conference he delivered, first of all, when he spoke about footballers and people in the world with mental health and whatever, and how just because they're footballers, they're not immune to it. Yes, they. And when he tackled it, and he goes, "Listen, I lost my dad 3 years ago. I have to carry that burden. That he's not with me for this journey. It doesn't matter who you are. If something's great in your life, doesn't mean everything is great." The way he tackled that moment, fantastic. Obviously, the way he answered the question about the honeymoon period,
Yeah, that was
and he goes,
hysterical.
"Well, I don't know what your honeymoon was like." This man, honestly, I keep saying it, he could read the ingredients on a cereal box, and I would listen to it. I would get it if it was a podcast series. I would listen to Ange Talks to Kellogg's. I would listen to it all goddamn day. I am absolutely blown away, and I am in love with a man from down under. It's official. I am a Ange Postecoglou-holic.
I think
Because
the
he's
thing is,
incredible.
Brian. I think the thing is, Brian. Like as he says, he only spends around a minute with a player, and then he leaves. So deliver the message, drop the mic.
Yep.
Leave them with that thought. Leave them with that message. I like sharp wit. I like quick wit. I like dry humour. So he really appeals to me because that's my humour. But you're right. What he was saying about anything can be going on. We look as fans, as footballers, earning vast sums of money, and he's saying, from the outside looking in, these have got blessed lives with lots of money. But believe me, they have problems just like you and me. It could be something that's happened in the family. It could be anything, right? And this is the issue, right? That we fans fail to take on board, and we attack players without thinking. And I'm hoping, with what's gone on with Delhi and what's happening with Richie, that maybe now that we'll think a little deeper. But let's be honest, who else would have ever said that? What Spurs manager can you think of would have come out and said such a thing about their players, to understand what they actually go through? One of the things that I was having a go at yesterday is the real Ted Lasso. He is. I really wanted Kulu to come off because I don't believe Kulu's a winger, right? I believe you should play inside. And I was thinking, get him off the pitch. Why is he still? So when he made those substitutions, I went from, oh my God, what is Ange doing? What is he doing? He's left him on the pitch. Then I saw Kulu go inside and all my rage disappeared because that's what I was asking for. And what a change it was. He had massive influence on those last few minutes. So I think his management, in-game management, the way he conducts himself is a breath of fresh air. I just love the fact that we have a manager that loves the club.
Yep.
And he doesn't give us crap. He tells us. And my favourite comment was, are the fans getting carried away? The fans are getting carried. Let them get carried away. Let them dream. I don't want to burst their bubble. Let them dream. right? Football's about dreams, right? Okay, yeah, the dreams get broken, but let us dream. And right now, okay, we're all dreaming. We've been 4 years in the wilderness, 4 years of dross, 4 years of misery, and now we're going to enjoy every single second of it, okay, until the bubble pops, as he says. But even when it pops and we get that loss, I'm sure he's going to come out with something that will reassure us, because it's the start of the journey. I love the guy, really. Never thought I'd say that at the beginning.
Mate, you know one thing I've got to add. First of all, Ellie, the reason Spurs I think are getting fined is because the amount of yellow cards given by that dickhead referee. If you get over 5 yellow cards or something,
yeah,
you get a fine, and we got 6. So Ellie, if you're still watching, there will be a fine because of that and that only. Colin Cross mentioned it, and you've got to remember we are 1-0 down. I can't remember if we'd equalised at the time. But this is why you got to love Ange as well. When we needed to get a winner or an equaliser, last year, for instance, AC Milan, we took off Kulusevski and brought on Emerson Royale. Sanchez. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Well, this game, we took Van de Ven off and sacrificed the defender to get Højbjerg on and really, really go. I mean, these little details. You got to remember, this guy hasn't lost a home game since 2020. All right, it's Scotland, it's Glasgow. It doesn't matter where you are. To go from 2020 undefeated at home.
Fortress, White Hart Lane.
Mate, is all right. He's had 2 games. He's won both. I can't begin to describe and you can see in the crowd. I have never, like I said at Burnley, the scenes I saw yesterday at Manchester United. For the first 2 home games of the season.
Incredible, man. I've never experienced anything like it.
Mate, I've seen in the concourse after this man, Ange Postecoglou, there were a lot of people that laughed and said, oh, when he said, right, that changing room is yours. I'll come in and say what I've got to do, but that's yours to do as you want, what you want. The freedom that they have, and you can see in the celebrations after. Joe, I had a lot of people reach out to me who weren't Spurs fans, who were taking the piss out of us, running down arm in arm, and the dancing. And the only thing I turned around to them and said, well, I remember in Jurgen Klopp's first season, everyone took the piss out of him for going over to the Kop and starting that yes, and taking the fans over. And look what happened to Liverpool. We're building up. Honestly, everything this man does, and like I said, who would have thought we have had the Contes, the Mourinhos, we have had every kind of which way, and it's taken this man to come in. And you've got to remember, this guy has done it in just over 100 days. Listen, like you said, are we maybe getting a bit carried away? Yes. Do we deserve to be? Absolutely, because we have been starved of this. And like you said, and like I said about managers, the Contes, the Mourinhos came and it was all about them. I've come to Tottenham. This is me. Look what I've won. Look what I've done. This is what I do.
I'm doing you a favour.
Yeah, exactly. Where this man has come in, and boy, does he get it. He comes in, no smoke and mirrors. No, it's about me. This man is absolutely outstanding. And if we play this right, this could be. People go on that we keep chopping and changing managers. I'm one of them. I am one of them. And I will stand here and say, we best, whatever this man needs or wants, give him the goddamn tools. Because right now, he has created, we're at the opening chapter of Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham era. And if it carries on going the way it goes, and he has that kind of effect in 100 days, this man could be the man. I mean, so many people. I've watched it so many times now since we've got Postecoglou. When Celtic signed Ange Postecoglou, Alan Brazil, a known Celtic fan, he went absolutely mental. Like, is this some kind of joke? What the? Yeah. He was going in.
Threw his headphones down.
He was going nuts, and so were. Listen, it's what Arsenal fans were doing when Arsene Wenger came. Exactly, if you don't know who the guys, and let's face it, Arsene Wenger had come from a similar kind of pathway, obviously not Monaco. But he came in, no one knew
Grand
who he was,
Mercedes.
and he came in and he revolutionised Arsenal. He revolutionised that football club. He revolutionised the way football was played here for a certain time, like Pep is now. And he has come here, and all the Celtic fans, and there's been a lot of people commenting, reached out to me going, see, this is what you get with this man. But they're even surprised because at Celtic it took a bit of time, and then once it got going and clicked, boy, but off they went. Well, we were all sitting here saying, right, this is going to be a bumpy ride. Strap in because there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, it's going to take time. Just stay with him. Well, if this is taking time, mate, this is going to be a roller coaster, and you know what? I cannot wait
I got to
for
say,
this
Brian.
ride.
You know, Sonny bought us South Korea and Asia, and Ange has bought us Australia, right? You know, Australian fans, you know, I get messages from people who aren't even football fans, really. They don't particularly have a team. But now they're Tottenham Hotspur. People are looking out for the result now in Australia because, like, he's a national icon out in Australia after his heroics in the Asian Cup. And, you know, he's great. He's turning everybody. I mean, I've never seen a crowd like that for two games. I've been to so many games, so many matches over the years, and I don't remember a manager creating that sort of atmosphere. And I love the way when the game had finished, when that goal came on. I don't know if you know, it's Mickey van der Ven. I've got confused because Mickey van der Ven was on the pitch. He was walking around the pitch going like this. I don't think, hang on a minute, was he not subbed? Because you can get booked for coming onto the pitch to celebrate as well. But I like the way he allows the players to go and take the plaudits from all the fans. Then he comes afterwards. He comes on afterwards and he salutes the fans on his own. But Fran's right. Have you ever, I don't remember ever seeing that amount of fans still there, 12 minutes. 12 minutes of extra time and still staying there 10 minutes after the final whistle. Never.
I've just got, Johnny, I'm just going to cut you off here because I've got a huge thank you to say to everyone in here, 442 people. The aim or the mission was to hopefully get to 7,000 subscribers during this stream. And the Tottenham on Tour family have not let us down. We have just hit 7,000 subscribers. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for joining us. I will let you know that we've got a very special week. That's it. The journey to 10 is on. We have got a big week planned of Cockerel Doodle Doo and North London Derby extravaganza for the week. But yeah, thank you for helping us get to 7,000. Ange Postecoglou, yeah, let's get back to the main man. Yeah, like you said, the atmosphere and staying behind those 12 minutes. Then, I mean, the celebration. I've seen so many different angles of this.
Well, watch my videos.
Oh, no, I will do. But what I'm saying is I've seen so many videos of when the crowd, when they run over there, and that part's brilliant. But when they're playing that Free From Desire, which is one of the best pump-up tunes you will ever find, I've seen people at different parts of the stand or in the stands that when the chorus kicks in, na 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 na, that the limbs that are going on that south stand,
it's unbelievable,
and it's all been created. Yes, the players have got a lot to do with it. Yes, the performance. Yes, that Ange Postecoglou has done something very, very special. Is going to do something very, very special. I mean, when we started this series that we've started, Johnny, the next one, please God, I've been saying to people, could you imagine if we beat Arsenal next week in the manner we just beat Sheffield United on their ground? My God.
We haven't won there since 2011, so it will be a monumental feat.
Yeah, but it was not only monumental, I just can't think right now. The last few games, we've gone there with the same Deadwood, the same collective that have been there. and people will know when you join this football club or when you join any football club, the rivalry. Right? This is the game. You do not lose this game. You show
Yeah.
up this game. This is the game where you become a hero. You could become a legend. You could. It's been the same players, the same players regurgitating, and I think the romance, and the meaning of that North London derby, what means to us
Romance.
every single season when we go there or we play them, we literally keep getting there and having to go through seeing them playing that performance. But this time, the form we're on, the new set of players that will know this week is the week. This is where we up our game and we go into it. I can't remember the last time. I mean, we're not normally very confident going onto their ground either, at any point. But I can't think of a better time right now. 4 wins on the bounce, thanks to Big Ange. 4 wins on the bounce, thanks to those players. 4 wins on the bounce, thanks to that football, to the players, and four out of 4 because of the bloody incredible support.
Best start since 1965, guys. Take that in.
Yeah, the only thing I will
1965.
say is it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong; it is absolutely fantastic that we've got that. But we also have to remember last season we started waxing lyrical because Antonio Conte got us our best ever start to the Premiership at that time. So that part we have got to we have got what's
this one here. No pecking order.
yeah
There is no king of the crop, right? There is
yeah
no. Where's Harry? Where's Harry? Where's Harry? We are a collective. Yeah. We're a collective.
exactly.
The journey to 10,000 begins.
Exactly. It's where it begins. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that has sent in saying, hitting 7,000. It has been only thanks to you guys that come and watch the show and come and see the content that we put out. There will be a few changes soon because obviously I'll be in Toronto, but such is my love for this show and such is your love for the show because this show is the one that gets the rave reviews.
And mine.
And yours, obviously. I will be getting up at 4:30 in the morning in Toronto to carry on Ange-r Management.
You could get up at 5 and do it at 10.
No. If I'm going to do it, it's 9:30 is the time. We're sticking to it. And my body clock will be set for it. And the first one we do will be against Luton. But we've still got Arsenal and Liverpool. And Johnny, if we get wins in that, I think these shows, the special mentions will be each and every player. But before we go, got a couple of questions that have been there. For one of them is a statement, and we can talk about this from Tom81. Isn't it amazing how one man can make such a difference? Johnny?
Yeah, listen, we've gone from a guy who blamed everyone and anyone other than himself. We had a guy who, said he was doing us a favour. I am Antonio Conte. I am better than this. And what we've got is a guy who gives us philosophical answers, who tells us as it is, who takes it on the chin, who says it's down to me. Everything that happens is my decision. It's so refreshing. And the players 100% are bought into it. He's turned toxicity into positivity like nobody I've ever seen. The switch around, I expected it to come, and even Celtic fans have messaged me saying he couldn't even do that as quickly at Celtic as he's doing it at your club. Incredible, really. You build it and they will come, Colin, absolutely. Unfortunately, in the academy, we didn't do that, but now we are. It's looking very bright, guys. And yes, it will come down. Yes, we will get some bumps along the road. And yes, there will come a time where we have a bad game and get beat. But it's part of the journey.
It is indeed. I mean, I have to say, obviously, this is the influence people can have. Like I said, it's all about, I always believe when I've been a manager, is you make your players or your team happy. And if your team are happy, then they'll put in the shift for you. They'll go that extra 10 miles. And this man has come in, and just everything this man does, it's like he's reset the clock and said, right, we've been going in this direction. Put the brakes on because we're taking a hard left and we're going somewhere completely different. And he has come in and had a huge impact. And you got to think, they normally say, like Colin said, build, and they'll come. This man has started building from the very moment he got here, and it's just the speed that he's been able to do this. And we got a question from Terry, and I'm going to expand on this. If we beat the Gooners and Liverpool, are we serious title contenders? And then also, how many points do you expect to get, or do you have as your target? And that goes for everyone in the chat as well.
Right. Okay. So I said at the beginning, are we going to end up with Leicester vibes? You know, when Leicester started the season, that season, and everyone said, yeah, it's a good start, but they won't be able to keep it up. The longer we go and the longer we remain unbeaten, those same questions will come. You know, how long will it be before they collapse? You know, I don't know how long it's going to go on for. I'm absolutely gutted, Brian. I've got a wedding in Spain for the Liverpool game, and I won't be there. I was hoping for plagues and pestilence so that I didn't have to go, but unfortunately, I have to fly out. So I'll be watching the game in Spain. But I think if we remain unbeaten, I will be very happy. That's my objective, to remain unbeaten and keep the run going, because there will be no shame in holding Arsenal to a draw or beating or drawing with Liverpool, especially how they're playing right at the moment. That attack of Diaz, Nunes and Salah and Jota is quite frightening. There's a lot of pace in there, so it's going to be a tough game.
It is. I'm with Fran. I see us going undefeated. I see 4 points in the next 2 games, and I will say that I if someone says to me, "All right, who's the win against?" I don't give a monkeys. It's at the Emirates. Mate, you cannot. I will take a draw at Liverpool. Although you look at it, Liverpool apparently is the one team in the league that we haven't beaten at the new stadium. So there's that to it. But there is nothing more important or better, especially the rarity of it, than 3 points at the Emirates. And you know what? I'm not going to get carried away and thinking immediately, okay, if Terry, that if we win, we're serious title contenders. I'm going to do what Postecoglou says. It's one game at a time and see where we are. I spoke to someone on We Are Tottenham TV yesterday, and they said, you know what? It worked out yesterday that we lost against teams we should have, and obviously you have no divine right to beat any team in the Premier League, but against teams you would have thought that we should have beaten, apparently we gave away 23 points last season, and that was by his estimation. And I was like, you know what, if you look at that, if we were to get those 23 points back and then could take some from the top 6, we really could be onto something. But there is a lot to do. I am seriously, I will say now, 5 games in, I said we're going to get 6. If we go undefeated against these 2, I might have to change and say, do you know what, we may push for top 4. But I'm not gonna get overexcited. I'm not gonna but I'll tell you one thing, all the media are talking about us positively again, in the right way, about everything that's going on.
Postecoglou.
The players are doing fantastic. But we've got another super chat in here from Martin. Thank you, brother. Congratulations on 7K, boys. Well deserved. Thank you very much for that. And that's where we will wrap things up.
Brian, I just want to say one.
Oh, wait a minute. I've got another super chat. 1 second. From Perchy. Congrats on getting 7,000. Cheers, Perchy. Thanks for the raid. Go on, Johnny. What was you about to say, brother?
I just want to say one thing. I haven't heard for the first time since the season started so far, the word HK mentioned by the press or the newspapers. Hopefully that is it now, because it's just, it's enough now. We're moving on. And I'm going to say it last time. Harry was a bock, right? Harry was a bock. Right? The bock has been lifted. We are now a team, or we're going to a higher plane. Harry, Look on. Look on.
We will indeed. And do you know what? I'll show you how I didn't even know yesterday. Someone came on. I think it might have been KPV who came on and said that man scored his 300th club goal this week in the Bayern's fixture. I was like, did he? Had no idea. Apparently, it was a big thing to it, but I couldn't
Richie just scored his 50th goal in the Premier League. Big deal.
I couldn't care that a certain person scored his 300th club goal. It weren't in a lily white shirt. Done. Game over. See you later. Bigger things, better things are happening. Tell you what, mate. One thing we will end with this. One thing that he must be kicking himself right now. He must be kicking himself. We can say we're not going to talk about him when he's there. Right now, seeing that South Stand, seeing the atmosphere, seeing the players unite, seeing what's going on, seeing Manager of the Month, seeing Player of the Month, seeing the whole thing popping, and it's without him, must be doing his fucking nutting.
Yeah, and we got no ambition. There's no will to win. Hey, Harry, you were part of it, mate. You were the leader of the gang, okay? So
exactly. Exactly.
Say less.
So, we will be back all week with Cockerel Doodle Doo starting tomorrow at 8:50. Then on Monday, the Monday after, my final week in London before I go back to the wonderful world that is Canada and Toronto. We will be back with Ange-r Management at 8:50 a.m. on the day after the North London derby. Hopefully, it will be one where we can be very, very happy and all smiley faces. I think we will. But Johnny, before we go, where can people find you, sir?
Find me here on Johnny H3232. If you go onto my page and give me a follow, you'll see some of the videos from yesterday. Yeah,
there you go, Pazzy. Shout out to you, brother. You shameless man.
Right. Hey, if you
go on.
There you go. If you follow me here, I posted a whole load of videos from yesterday. The goal celebration afterwards. There's some great scenes there, especially on the second goal. Also, you can find me on Let's Talk Tottenham 32 on TikTok and Let's Talk Tottenham on Instagram. And of course, on here. Thank you for everybody who's got us to 7,000. Well, let's make Ange-r Management the #1 show out there. And I think we really will, because the numbers are growing. Tell your friends, tell your relatives, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get that journey to 10,000. Brian?
Yep. Big up to Mr. Kaufman as well, part of Tottenham on Tour. He has his own channel. Go give that a watch. All I can say, guys, I will let Johnny. You always want to know the scores on the door. I'm just so blown away that we hit 7,000. I'm so delighted. Thank you, everyone who has been watching. We have had up to about 400 people at one point. We have almost got 300 likes, which again is a tremendous achievement, guys. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and as always, Levy out.
Come on, you Spurs.
Damn right.